Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 30NSG. On today's show, we're going to be talking about lots of different... We have like 7 different topics we're going to talk about because I'm going to make breakout videos throughout the week for those that don't want to come to the live streams. We're going to be talking about the new Halo game is reportedly in development using the Unreal Engine. We're going to be talking about PlayStation 5 Pro specs that kind of leaked. Not kind of leaked, they leaked. Or they could be leaked, right? We're going to be talking about Embracer Group. Also, maybe closing down more studios or restructuring in their latest thing. We're going to be talking about Netflix testing streaming games to the US TVs to take on PlayStation and Xbox. We're going to be talking about the Grand Theft Auto could be coming to Netflix games. We're going to be talking about City Skylines 2 publisher has bad news about the game's launch. And then if we have time, we have some rumors about Grand Theft Auto 6. So all that on today's show. We do these shows Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning to about noon Eastern. We also do uploads. We do live streams. We do gameplay. We do podcasts. We do lots of stuff on this channel. So if you'd like to support us in any way, shape, or form, the simplest way is to hit that like button down below on each and every single video that you watch. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, you hit the subscribe button if you like what we do here. And if you'd like to go above and beyond that, if you really like what we do here, you become a member as little as $5. That gets you more rooms in our Discord. Anyone can join our Discord if you are a member or not a member. You just get into the general chat and be a part of the community. And if you want to break into more areas, you can become a member, link your account, and then you can be a part of the whole group. All right. Sorry, I started a little bit late. I know it wasn't that late. It was like 1 minute. But I forgot to change the title of the actual thing. It reprinted the one from last night or yesterday about the Spider-Man reviews and stuff like that. And we're not talking about that. So, all right. How's everyone doing? What's going on, Z? What's going on, Silent Warrior? Dave Rose, Big Mo, Jesse, Ford, what's going on? Good morning, good morning. Yeah, see, now Rose is spamming that PlayStation. You see that? Now we got, I think we've evened the playing field now, right? More heroic. Now we got the Game Pass and we got the PlayStation. I really should put like the PlayStation Plus is what I should do, right? The PlayStation Plus, because one's representing Game Pass and the other one is representing PlayStation. So, we might have to put the PlayStation Plus. Maybe I'll make it into a plus symbol instead. Who knows? What's going on, Dolphin? All right, so we got a lot of breakout videos that we want to do tonight, okay? Again, those of you that come to the live streams, you get to have a conversation with me live, where if you watch it after the fact, I'm not communicating with you. Or if you watch the breakout videos where it's just the individual topic. Like this morning, we posted yesterday's Suicide Squad. So make sure you guys go click that video, give it a like. You've already watched it if you were here yesterday because we did it during the live stream. But go give it a like so to help push that video out there for more. What's going on, Intervoid? GTA 6 new leaks or somebody has new predictions? It's a leak. It's a leak, and it's a very very detailed leak, right, Jesse? So it's predictions, but it's also like it breaks it down to right now it's more of just a rumor or a leak, right? But when the day comes, which by their standard is 9 days from now, they are giving a really detailed description of what the GTA 6 trailer is. Okay, so that's why we're going to be doing it. So we're going to go over what they're predicting or saying what the trailer is, because they said they've seen the trailer twice. They say the trailer is coming out on October 26th this month. So take it with a grain of salt, but that's what we're going to do. There's always reasons to use Game Pass, only on certain occasions to use PlayStation. Well, PlayStation can use it right now because of Spider-Man 2 is coming out this week, right? Need a Switch emote now for Nintendo fans. Nah, we don't need a Nintendo Switch. We don't need a Nintendo Switch. It'll be the middle finger because Nintendo says whatever to anybody else. There'll just be a middle finger. It's just an N with a middle finger in the middle of it, and that's Nintendo. They're just like, whatever. We don't care. We do what we want. All right, so the first topic we're going to talk about is a new Halo game is reportedly in development using the Unreal Engine. So we'll do a breakout video of that, and then we'll break it down. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 30NSG. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the new Halo game is reportedly in development using the Unreal Engine. Before I get to this article or this news and break it down, if you like what we do here, we do this live show Monday through Thursday, 10 o'clock in the morning to about noon Eastern, but we do these breakout videos. So if you're watching this, I do appreciate you very much to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and if you'd like to join us for the live streams, come on over. We're probably live around 10 o'clock to noon if you're watching this in the mornings. All right, so a new Halo game is reportedly in development using the Unreal Engine. Earlier this year, Microsoft announced some restructuring plans which impact the many parts of the business on the gaming side. Now, 343 Industries was hit with the hardest with a lot of layoffs, including most of the campaign team that were hard at work at Halo Infinite. Now, rumors claim that the new small-scale team has been set up to begin building the next Halo game using the Unreal Engine. While I did enjoy Halo Infinite, the writer says, it didn't turn out to be the big franchise revigorating the game that many were hoping for. Now, after the game's launch, many developers spoke up about issues of 343 Industries, revealing that the Slipspace engine still had plenty of issues and relied heavily on legacy code from the older Halo games. Now, 343 Industries seems to be pivoting in a new direction. According to a seasoned gaming on Bitcast podcast, 343 Industries has set up the team to work on the next Halo game. They are using the Unreal Engine. Of course, the Halo Infinite also had some prototype work done on Unreal Engine before all development moved over to the studio's own engine. Now, however, after the feedback from the developer on Infinite, we wouldn't be surprised to see the next Halo game finally moving over to the Unreal. As for when we might see the next new Halo game, if early work is only beginning this year, it will take several more years to build out the game's test and ship it. Given that already know the expect next-gen consoles in 2028, the next Halo could end up being the send-off to Xbox Series X and the early next-gen game for Microsoft next console. Now, I got a couple thoughts about this, right? And I want to hear your thoughts as well. So if you're watching this after the fact, leave it in the comment section down below. First, the big question is, do we think that Halo's problem is because of the Slipspace engine? Or do we think the problem is the people creating the actual game, 343? Or do we think the problem is that because the game is just it's 20 years old, man. It's 20 years old, and they keep doing the exact same thing. And because it's not a Madden, because it's not a Call of Duty, follow me here, right? A Madden comes out every single year. So you don't really expect that many changes with a game that comes out every other year, or every year, right? Call of Duty comes out, and it's pretty consistent for what it is, right? And then every couple years, they change like the dynamics of it. Halo comes out every 5 years. And the problem with the Halo Infinite, from all the other ones, since Bungie left Halo, which was the last one was Reach, I believe, okay, Halo has been, everyone says it's been down the tubes, which technically it has. It's not as good as the original Halo with Bungie making it. But they've also had plenty of people, we looked it up a couple of weeks ago, that they're still making sales, but the amount of years that Bungie had Halo and the amount of years that 343 has been running Halo, they have almost half of the population of what Halo has been doing when Bungie was creating Halo. So is this the answer? Changing the Slipspace engine to Unreal Engine, is that going to make and save Halo game? Probably not, in my opinion, because now we look at this and say, oh man, they really need the Unreal Engine. They really need the Unreal Engine to make this game better. And in my opinion, if the game comes out in Unreal Engine and it's still the same developers using a brand new engine now, then I think you're going to have even bigger problems or different problems for the Halo series, because now it's going to be growing pains in an engine they don't know, and that they're, in the long run, it might be better for them to use the Unreal Engine because it's easier to use. But Halo has a distinct form of what it is, and using the Unreal Engine, will that, go away from what Halo is? Okay, what will it feel like other shooters that are using the Unreal Engine? The Unreal Engine itself is very, very dynamic. You can make it feel or do different things. But overall, I don't know if Unreal Engine is the answer for Halo Infinite. Halo itself needs help. 343 needs help. I would personally rather, instead of them changing engines, but they're going to do what they're going to do, okay, I think it'd be interesting now that Activision Blizzard is picked up by Microsoft, and they have plenty of first-person shooter companies, studios that worked on Call of Duty. That is the #1 shooter. Okay, now if they can bring some studio guys over to help 343, or take another studio to build the next game along with 343 and in the new engine, then I can see something happening here. But overall, I think Halo, Phil Spencer said it himself, is not going to make or break the franchise. And as you can see right now, the next season's coming out, and a lot of people are hyped about it. A lot of people are saying it's back where it was. But here we are 2 years after the game released, and now we're like, yeah, Halo feels great. I'm not sure. I haven't played it since the actual launch. I haven't even played the single-player campaign because I kind of boycotted it because it didn't have a co-op campaign. But I hope Halo can come back from this. But is the answer the Unreal Engine? Is Unreal Engine going to be that one-all, be-all to be like, oh, man, they're using Unreal Engine and Halo Infinite is saved, or Halo franchise is saved? I don't know if that's the case. I really think that 343 is the problem here, not the engine itself. But that's just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. If you like what we do here, please make sure you share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. All right. I think the problem is 343 had no fresh ideas. I think you're right, Rose. I think the problem is not the slip space engine. I think the problem is 343. I've said this many times before, that 343 was handed a franchise they had no interest in, right? It was like a job. They're like, here you go. Microsoft's like, Halo is the biggest franchise we have. We need someone to work on it. 343. Remember, they only had 5 studios back in the day when they chose to use 343. Okay? It's a completely different landscape now. Maybe 343 is really not a bad developer. Maybe they're just a bad developer for Halo. It was the prior devs not doing their job? Perhaps, Mo. Give the franchise to a dev that still has passion for the IP. Boss says, Mo thinks Halo is great. Yeah, he brought it up in the argument 2 days ago about how Xbox has great exclusive games. I mean, Boss, the Halo franchise is a great exclusive game, but it's not in a great place, right? L says it won't change anything. Ford says, Halo has definitely better than Bungie had it. Halo was definitely better when Bungie had it. Oh, absolutely. Jesse Max says Halo Infinite has big problems and separate from multiplayer from the story, just like COD does. Rose says Halo Infinite is trash. Is it in the 80s? Is it in the 80s, Rose? What's the rating for Halo Infinite? Should we look that up? What does the Metacritic say about? We haven't looked that up in a while. 87. Whew. That's definitely trash. That's definitely trash, right? According to the internet, an 87 is trash. It's definitely trash. It feels like Halo will be fine. Yeah, but that's what Phil said, right, Mo? If this is the lowest it can go, like if this is the bottom, right? If this is the bottom for Halo, it's not bad, right? Ford says, but an engine change won't just make it better. Still depends on the developers. Right, Ford, and that's what I'm saying. I don't think the answer is just changing the engine. If the people making the game are just not passionate about the game, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter if someone doesn't know how to use a hammer, if you give them a brand new hammer besides an old hammer, they still don't know how to use the hammer. They still don't know how to use the hammer. It will be a lovely Unreal Engine polished turd. What's going on, 11? Eclipse says, I'm going to play the new season. Hope it's good. I say Infinite had the best gameplay out of any Halos made by 343. Now, okay, I will give you that, Eclipse. I will give you that what they created is the best that 343 has done, but it's still the worst that Bungie's ever done, right? 343's best is still below Bungie's worst. Halo is basically Starship Troopers. Halo is basically Starship Troopers. That's a reach, Ron, but I can see what you're saying. I can see what you're saying. Check the Spider-Man 2 Metacritic score while you're there. All right, let me. It's at a 91 right now. 91. It was at a 91 yesterday as well. It was like a 92, 91 yesterday. Yeah, 87. Trash. That's right. That's what they think, 11. Like, anyone that's not in the 90s is just a trash. Is a trash game. All the titles that this gen for both consoles and Xbox has been a better average. Yeah, for sure. What happened to the Halo TV show? The Halo TV show, there's two sides here, and this might ruffle someone's feathers up, okay? The Halo TV show had two forms, okay? The people that were Halo fans that wanted to watch a Halo show, and they were disappointed because the Halo show wasn't based off the Halo game, okay? Then there was the people that weren't Halo fans and Halo fans that were happy with the show. But the real problem with the Halo show was there wasn't that many people that watched the show. It was popular like Shang-Chi was popular. But compared to other Marvel films, Shang-Chi failed miserably, right? So Halo's TV show did well, but didn't do great, okay? So you always know when a TV show comes out and says that we already have a second season in the works, they're struggling. Because the reason that's a tactic they do when they say, hey, we have a second season coming out, meaning the first season's fantastic, and this is why they're doing it. Have you heard of a second season yet for Ahsoka? Huh? What's that? No? There is no second season for Ahsoka right now. Can you imagine if it's so popular, why aren't they doing it? Right? Why aren't they doing it? So when the show came out, they were already talking about season 2 because it was so popular, but it wasn't. And that's the reality. You could like the show and you could also hate the show, but the studios look at it and go, it didn't do what we thought it was going to do. It did well, but it didn't do great. What's happening with Splitgate? Splitgate, didn't they move on to a full-fledged game? Isn't that what they're doing, Jones? They got the money to do a full-fledged game or whatever. 91 quality, 91 fire game, that's right. 90 is 100. 89, garbage. Making a game as passion instead of making a game as a job is completely different. Well, you hear things like Redfall, right? And the people at Arcane Studios did not want to make Redfall. They did not want to make Redfall. And then you have 343 that's forced to make Halo, right? Here's what I would love to see. I would love them, Microsoft, to make a studio. They ask people, hey, we're making a studio just to make Halo. Who wants in on it? Okay? And then they pull some people that are like, hey, I'll work on the next Halo. I want people that are passionate about whatever it is, right? I don't care if you're passionate about Spyro. I don't care if you're passionate about Halo. I don't care if you're passionate about Star Wars. I want to get Microsoft to go, all right, we got all these studios. I want anyone, here's a broadcast, anybody that likes Halo from any of our 52 studios, if you would like to make a Halo game, raise your hand. And they're like, I would like to raise my hand. Fantastic. We're going to make a studio based on people that are passionate about Halo, okay? And then they make a studio to make Halo, okay? Then give 343 and go, 343, what would you like to make? Now that we're not pressured trying to copy what Bungie did, okay, what would you like to make? And then give 343 something, okay, that they would like to make. Because I truly believe they do not want to make a Halo game. I heard they're making Splitgate 2 or something. Splitgate just came out. Yeah, but they abandoned Splitgate, right? They abandoned Splitgate and they're working on something else. They got some funding. I remember briefly in a news story earlier this year. 343 is that team? No. Paul, 343 was the team. They're like, 343, you're making that game. But the people that work at 343 are not passionate about Halo. You see what I'm saying? They just said, hey, we're making 343 and they're making Halo, but the people that are making the game are not passionate about it. They're not. It's the same people that are making Star Wars that are not passionate about Star Wars. And that's proof now. because they're getting rid of people of Marvel and Star Wars that are making shows that are not passionate about them. Vampire Survivor is the example of successful low-cost passion game. If you apply the position at 343, you already know you're going to be working on Halo. Right. Facts of passion. Oh, but you're saying if you apply, but here's the thing. The people that are making 343, look at Halo the past couple of years. Right? The last couple of Halos. They're not better than Bungie. They're not. There's more passion for Halo at Bungie. Okay? Bungie would love to have Halo back. They would love to have Halo back, but they lost it. They lost it to Microsoft because Microsoft dicked them over in the contract, and they had to give the IP to them, right? Activision, can you imagine? Could you imagine in a world where Activision still owned Bungie, like they were still partners, and then Microsoft bought them? And then they're working back for Microsoft? Oh, man. Facts, a passion project always turns into a great look. But 343 was made for only Halo. Everyone knew it was signing up to the dev team. Paul, when you work for a company, and your boss comes over to you and says, hey, Paul, I need you to work on this project, right? You know what project you're working on. And you're like, okay, right? So now you're an employee making a check. Okay, you are now part of the Halo, even though you don't want to be part of Halo, but it's a check. You're making the game. Doesn't matter if you were passionate or not. You are now making Halo. Right? People on Redfall. I said this a couple of weeks ago. The people on Redfall, if you were a brand new dev coming in, you applied to Arcane Studios because you liked Prey. Right? You like the type of games they made, single player stealth type of games, right? You apply to Arcane Studios and they're like, "Hey, Todd, we would like you to come in and apply for this job." And they're like, "Yeah, man, I really love what you guys are doing here at Arcane Studios. I really love Prey. I can't wait to get on." And they're like, "Fantastic. We have this brand new game coming out. It's called Redfall." And they're like, "Oh, cool." And then they start working on it and they're like, "Wait a minute, this is a co-op looter shooter? I don't want this." And they're like, "Well, this is what we got for you." And they're like, "All right, well, I guess I'm making this," right? So, do you see what I'm saying? There's a difference between the people coming to Halo and going, "Yeah, we know 343." In the beginning, 343 was a studio, and they're like, "Yeah, we're making games, and this is a studio, and you're going to be making Halo." They're making someone else's game. They're not making their own stuff. Then those devs should leave? Sure, L. Yeah, they should leave, right? But they got to find another job. But they're making money now, right? They're making money now. And at the end of the day, most people can't leave the job that they're in because they're making money and they have to support their family, right? It's not like they can just handpick what they want to work on. They're like, "Hey, you know what? I don't really like Halo. I'm going to go work for Mass Effect now. Or I'm going to go work for Spider-Man now." It doesn't really work that way. Jason says, Halo rep has been damaged. No one talks about it in a positive way. And when Bungie was running the series. True, I don't know the insiders, but I would assume that they're like, Halo doesn't have that shine anymore, right? Halo doesn't have that shine anymore. Redfall was proof that it's in their own minds. Halo isn't enough. They want millions of it. What do you mean they want millions? Redfall was proof that in their own minds, Halo isn't enough, and they want millions of it. I don't know what that means, Travis. I don't. So beer gameplay, yeah, because you gotta get drunk and enjoy it. Good news, I guess. 343 are hiring again, which is a good sign. And you know what? No matter what company we hear from, and this goes across the board, when we hear like people are getting let go and people are getting fired, we always look at it as a bad thing, right? But we all do know that there's people at a company that hold everyone else back, right? There's no difference between a job in the office and a job in like sports, okay? If a guy, let's do a football analogy. If a guy's a quarterback on your team, he's a quarterback, that's his job, and he sucks at being a quarterback, you can lose your job. And someone else that comes in and it gels better with the group, and then it makes everybody else better because he's good at his job, right? If a kicker comes in, misses a field goal, he sucks at his job, they go get another kicker, and the kicker then comes in, and it makes the vibe feel better. Same thing goes with devs. Same thing goes with people in the film industry. Same people go anywhere, right? If you have one person that you bring in and all of a sudden it changes the whole vibe in the place. This is why when someone's in the upper management and they're toxic or they don't like the work area, people are like, I just don't like the vibes here, man. I just don't like the vibes here. So if someone doesn't want to work on something and you're forcing them to work on something, well, let's go back to Redfall again. Right? They didn't want to work on the game. They thought their prayers were answered when Microsoft bought ZeniMax and Bethesda because they're like, oh, fantastic. They're going to come in and look at this and say, what is this? Just stop it. And they're like, no, you're still going to work on it. And they're like, oh, God. All right, just get it over with. Right? How many people actually have a job because it's their passion? I would assume a lot of people come in. This is, again, I can only speak from experience from the film industry. Sometimes you take a job, like I wanted to get to the camera department, okay? But I had to be a grip. I had to be a production assistant. I had to, before I could work on a feature film, I had to work through music videos. I had to work through commercials. I had to work in other avenues to build up to get to the dream job that I wanted, right? Not until I got to my passion area, which was like 6-7 years into it. You know what I mean? Morning, playing the best sniper game, Ghost Warrior Contracts 2. I've never played it. Never played it. Never even heard of it until you just said it, Travis. The TV series didn't help either? No, the TV series didn't help. The Bad Acid Trip, what's going on? Welcome to the chat. Basically, one, Halo isn't enough. They want nothing but Halo. They want 1 million copies of the same thing. You're saying 1 million copies. Are you saying, Travis, that you're saying that they wanted to make like Redfall like Halo? Is that what you're saying? I'm still confused on what you're saying. I'm sorry. I just don't understand the way you're saying it. Paul says, but I agree with what you're saying. If some guy is making Call of Duty right now and really wants to work on Halo, then OFC, it should be his option to switch if possible. This is what I'm saying. And you can't do this with most people because most studios don't own 30-something studios. You see what I'm saying? I think Microsoft should do something that I don't know if they do it already, but they go around and go, what's your passion project, Susie? Oh, I really want to work on Fable, but you're working on Call of Duty. Yeah, I know, but I would really love to work on Fable. Great, Susie. Let's move you on over to the other company, okay? Because they're all underneath the umbrella, right? They're all underneath the umbrella. They're like, move Susie over. She wants to work on Fable. That's her passion project. Don't you think you would get better progress? Better. People just love it. They'd be like, oh man, I can't believe I'm working on this game, right? The passion would be there, right? You can't do that when you have 5 studios. You can't do that with 5 studios because you don't have enough people to go around. Average Joe just goes to work to get paid. That's right. And that doesn't change. That doesn't change in the entertainment industry. I'm saying they want every game to be Halo, and that's okay. I'm not always clear. Oh, it's okay. So you're saying they want every game to be Halo. I don't think that's true. I think in your description, then I can say the same thing for PlayStation. They want every game to be a God of War, which is the genre they're going for. They're going for that first person or not first person. They're going for that single player, over the shoulder, story driven, quick time event games. And they do that very well, right? So to say that Microsoft wants Halo and all games to be like Halo, I think you got to look yourself in the mirror a little bit. And I'm not saying you yourself, but PlayStation does that right now. PlayStation literally wants every game to be that way. Yeah, but because someone wants to work on something doesn't mean they'll be good at it. Sure. But the likelihood, Crowded, that someone that wants to work on something is passionate, it comes down to skill. Don't get me wrong, right? Your skill, like I said with the quarterback, he might want to play for the New England Patriots, but he sucks as a quarterback, and he doesn't get to play, right? He gets to sit on the bench and watch other people play. Now, maybe the quarterback doesn't want to be on the Patriots, but he's got a starting job, and he's going to do the goddamn best job he can because he's motivated to keep his job. You see what I'm saying? So when people are getting into positions that they want, you would think they would actually work better if they're passionate about a project than if they weren't. People still became game developers. People still got to the NFL, meaning they have talent. Their talent might not be as good as the other person's talent, but they still have talent. Sorry, Microsoft does have a program where they ask us, do they? That's awesome. Now, see, is that in the game development section or is that in the other software section, Z? To be honest, that's up in the individual to navigate and incorporate structure and to get their dream role that you have to put the work in and never handed to you. Absolutely, Tiny. But what I'm saying is Microsoft is in a big position where they can do that because they have so many people. If they really wanted the good quality of stuff, I'm not saying like 90% of everyone would move jobs to other positions, right? But if someone's like, hey, what game would you like to work on? I would love to do a Fable game. I would love to do a Halo game. Great. Let's move Tim over there. I would agree a certain degree. If a product is a success in God of War and Halo, yes, you want to duplicate as much as possible. But to say that Microsoft wants to make every game like Halo and then PlayStation wants to make every game like God of War because God of War is successful but Halo isn't in your eyes? You see what I'm saying? But PlayStation's doing that. They're making every game like that type of game. Just want water. Heard the last statement. So what does Microsoft want in terms of games? No, Water. We were talking about that Halo. The actual topic we're talking about is Halo is reportedly in development using the Unreal Engine, and I was saying everyone thinks that this is going to solve all the problems for Halo, and I said, is the engine really the problem, or is it the company that's doing it, like 343? Crowded House says, one of the best noted writers for Star Trek hated Star Trek. Who was the worst? Who hated Star Trek, and what seasons did he work on? Because so far the first party releases have been mid so far. Sony kind of took the formula Naughty Dog has into their games, and now every studio makes their games in very cinematic approach. Right. Because it works. What I'm saying, Jason, though, is that Travis is saying that it's bad because Microsoft's trying to make every game like Halo, but yet it's good because they're making every game look like the same game over on PlayStation for first party. Right, you can internal transfer. The pool is bigger now. That's what I'm saying. The pool is much bigger now to find the people that are passionate because they have so many studios. That's all I'm saying. Microsoft wants every game to sell subs for Game Pass. Just needs to be good enough to get players' attention. Right, and that midpoint, Tiny, is that high 80s, mid to high 80s, right? If they can hit that, if it's better than that, fantastic. But if they can hit that 80 to 90 mark, and maybe this is it, right? Maybe it comes down to where $200 million gets you in the 90s, but $150 million gets you in the mid 80s to high 80s. And they're like, do we spend $50 million more to get over that hump, or are we okay being in the mid? Now, I don't know if they're doing this. I'm just saying maybe that's what it is. Maybe the difference between mid 80s and low 90s is like $50 million. And they're like, do we put that in there to get up to that Metacritic score up to there? Because all we really need is an 85. Is the amount of money we're spending worth the extra points for Game Pass, right? Because their first-party titles are on Game Pass. And I'm not saying that Game Pass is crap. What I'm saying is if that's their ballpark that they want to fit in, maybe when you pay $200 million, that gets you over the threshold of that next one, right? You know what I mean? Who knows? Not a fan of moving everyone over to Unreal Engine. I've talked about this as well, Paul. I also do not like everyone using the same engine because I feel like it becomes samey. We had this conversation about 2-3 months ago, I think. The engine changes can sometimes up open aspect of the game and weren't possible in the previous engines just due to engine limitations. Sure. Robert Meyer Burnett was talking about it. Unfortunately, I forgot the guy's name. If you're talking about the new series, though, House, I haven't watched it myself, but I do watch people that talk about the Star Trek show and whatnot. And the person that's writing, and I think if you're talking about the same person I'm talking about, I don't know his name either, but I believe that for the first couple seasons they were absolutely garbage, and now he's making good stuff, right? But I think he's making good stuff now instead of trying to make an agenda. He's actually writing good stuff. But that's a completely different topic, different whole thing. Today, I wasn't saying bad. I was simply saying that I want all games to be Halo. Hell, I would even argue that if they want to be Halo, because Halo was arguably good, just not my good. But I get that. But what I'm saying to you, Travis, and I acknowledge what you're saying. What I'm saying to you is I don't think they're doing everything like name another game that's on Xbox that's like Halo. Because Gears is not the same style as Halo, right? Like what other franchises are like Halo? I'm getting a little tired of Sony making open world games. We need more variety, like Returnal. I mean, it would be nice if they stop making the same stuff. More like 100 million, whatever that number is. Whatever that number is. Yeah, because Microsoft can't spend 600 million to get 70 score game that doesn't drive subs for Game Pass. Right? They have to keep that number reasonable to put that onto that service. I think it's worth the extra money. Higher quality games would bring in more subscribers, which is what their goal is. Correct, but if it's a higher quality, right, Rose? If it's a higher quality, and again, in my opinion, if let's say it's at $200 million to get a game onto, like, of the first-party title games, not spending a third-party game, $200 million to spend over 3 to 5 years to invest in a company to get it onto Game Pass, only to score a 90, low 90s, right? Where they can get the same people to come on the platform at a lower cost, between like 100, 125 to 150 or below 200 million, right? That they can get that score between 85 to 89 and also bring people to Game Pass. Where Game Pass, even though they're trying to keep the value high, but the payout low. So if they pay $200 million and then they still keep maintaining 30 million subscribers, but if they keep it at 150 million and they have 30 million subscribers, it's more feasible, more manageable. Does that make sense? If you like difficult rogue type game, yeah, I watched people play. It looks like a great game. Not my cup of tea. I don't really like the roguelite stuff like that. Is there another Gears game coming, by the way? Supposedly there is. I would assume there is. It's one of their bigger franchises. The last Gears was pretty good. No. I wasn't saying Redfall was trying to feel like Halo. I was using Redfall as an example of the people that came in to make Redfall didn't want to make Redfall. They didn't want to make a co-op. They wanted to make a Prey game. They wanted to make a single-player stealth type of game. That's what Arcane's known for. I was using Redfall as an example of people coming in and not being passionate about what they wanted. They hated it. They hated working on the game. Do we have any idea how much Spider-Man 2 costs to develop? I'm curious because it's sitting around a high 90. I would assume it's around 180 to 200 mil. I would assume. I wonder if we know what the first. If we know what the first. Let's see. It's going to be hard to find that information. It just says it took 2 years to develop the game, and the product is estimated to have cost around $100 million AAA in this classification used for video game that receives the highest budget from publishers, both the product. But it doesn't really say. What we do know from the leaked documents, right? From the leaked documents that Horizon Forbidden West cost $210 million. The Last of Us 2 cost $220 million, if that's correct. So I would assume, because those games are similar, right? Similar, that Spider-Man and God of War probably cost around that same price point, right? I would assume. So actually, let's go by that, right? Let's go by what we know. What we know, The Last of Us 2. Last of Us Part 2 scored a 93, right? The Last of Us Part 2 scored a 93. The remastered 95, okay? So we do know The Last of Us was less than 200 million, okay? And it scored less than a 90. And then they pumped up, right, for the sequel, and they made 93. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it takes to make the quality of the games to get into a 90. The Coalition is ramping up staff for Something Is Coming. The clip says, yeah, the Coalition has done really good with Gears, but very surprised. It was one of those people that thought once Cliffy left, there was no way it was going to be good, but they proved me wrong. And I think the people that are making the game are passionate about Gears, right? $500 bazillion. If Spider-Man 2 is at $300 million and Sony's game studio have some very, very good project management, I don't think it's $300 million. I don't think it's $300 million, but who knows? I mean, we will never know the actual cost unless it gets leaked in some other thing. I don't know. Those games look more expensive than Spider-Man. I mean, it's the same type of style as far as wide open game, third-person perspective, quick-time events, telling a good cinematic story. I mean, I would say it's in the ballpark of the same type of thing. I mean, look at some of the videos, some of the shows out there. Would you think that Ahsoka costs as much as, Marvel's Endgame, Avengers Endgame? I mean, I don't think so, but it did. Some of these movies that come out, that they don't even make their money back because they're well over a budget. I would think the cost of the game development would have increased from Last of Us to Last of Us 2. I'm thinking Last of Us 2 is sitting at least $400 million. No. The way it would work, Tiny, would be like, if the first movie I created was $100 million, the next movie would probably go up around 25 mil, maybe 50 mil, all depending on what you're doing. So I would assume in game development, and again, I'm making a correlation with movies because it's entertainment. If your first game of Last of Us, let's say, cost 180 million, and then their second one cost 210, that's about the increase that you would expect. Going over budget can happen for millions of different reasons. Sure, still over budget. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if it's delayed, if someone got sick, if at least in the film industry, you could have the camera run back when we used film by accident, and that would cost you a couple $1,000s, or just running out of just not hitting stop on the camera for film. You know what I mean? There's a shit ton of things that could happen, but whatever, regardless, it still goes over budget. Writing always suffers from project cost cutting from shows and games. It always seems like the first thing that gets cut. Oh, by the way, I heard rumors Battlefront 3 is a real thing because Outlaws doesn't mean EA isn't doing Star Wars. It's just not exclusive anymore. Yeah, like I've said this. 100% Battlefront is being worked on in the background. I think Respawn is making something. Last of Us. Outlaws. I just looked at Last of Us and over here, and then Outlaws is being made by Ubisoft. Okay, Battlefront 3 doesn't come out because it's not exclusive anymore. Battlefront 3 is owned by EA. They own that franchise. Okay, if DICE is not making it, then Respawn is. Somebody behind the scenes, I believe, is making Battlefront 3. It would be dumb. Now, maybe it's not called Battlefront 3, right? Maybe it's not called Battlefront 3, but there's another Star Wars multiplayer game shooter that's going to be coming out. You need to remember the second game can assist and the engine that's already in place. If anything, the game dev OG game could cost dev and the OG game could cost more. Yes and no. In my experience, and I'm not going to say you're wrong, Paul. Certain games, sure, can come down in price because they're doing stuff, but at the same time, in that process, sometimes the company hires more people to help them make the same game. So even though they already have all the assets and whatnot, they bring more people in to do stuff, and it costs more over time. But you're absolutely right. It could cost less, but majority of the time, it usually goes up by like 20%. All right, let's go on. Let's go on to the next topic here. Next topic. That was a good topic. Good conversation. If you guys like what we do here, please make sure you share, like, subscribe if you're watching this after the fact. All right, again, if you're here in the live stream, we do these breakouts, right? So these will be standalone videos when I do this, okay? And then they'll be uploaded. Like this morning, we uploaded yesterday's one of the topics yesterday was Suicide Squad leak on how they changed the game. So if you can't come to live shows to enjoy talking to us, talking to chat, talking to me, having these conversations live, you can watch these. You can watch this whole broadcast after the fact, or you can pick the individual topics that I upload separately because YouTube loves those uploads, right? Are you going to get Mario Wonder? I asked my son, Jason, because I'm never going to play it. I'm not going to play it. I don't have time to play games like that anymore. If we get it, I asked my son, are you interested in Mario Wonder? He says, yes and no. And it's like, what do you mean yes? He's like, I could wait. He's like, I don't need it now. He's still playing games. And he said that he actually likes playing right now. He's playing so many games on Game Pass that he's like, I don't know if I have time to get that. So he says he could wait. And I was like, okay. I said, it doesn't matter if you wait or not. It's going to be full price 2 years from now anyway. Right. So we're not going to get it right away. So, but we probably will get it down the road. Did it come out already, Paul? Did Mario Wonder already come out? It already came out and no one's talking about it? No. Is that true? No, there's no Metacritic score yet. He doesn't have time, and he's 9. I have no shot. Yeah, I mean, it was really funny that he said it. It's really fun that he said it that way. I said it last night. Someone should save Gearbox from Embracer and tell them to revive Battleborn. Now Overwatch is kind of dead. I mean, I liked Battleborn, Dupless. I mean, you played it with me, right? I liked Battleborn back in the day, right? What was the guy's name? Alpha Mike? Alpha Mike? I used him a lot. There's a couple of characters I liked using. No, it comes out the same time as Spider-Man does. Okay. All right. Second topic. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 30NSG. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about Cryptic Studios and Zen Studios appear to be the last latest studios affected by Embracer Group's restructure. Before I get to this article, if you like what we do here, please make sure you share, like, subscribe. We do these Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning to about noon Eastern in a live stream. We have live chat. We go back and forth. In these videos, I'm just doing the breakout video of this. So if you like this news story, you can watch this after the fact, or you can watch our full live show after the fact as well. Appreciate it very much. All right, so Cryptic Studios and Zen Studios appear to be the latest studios affected by Embracer Group's restructure. Embracer Group has already conducted layoffs and several first-party developers, and it seems that Cryptic Studios and Zen Studios are the latest teams to be affected by the ongoing restructuring. The possible layoffs at Cryptic Studios, as spotted by Timmer222 on, I hate that we have to do this, X, former Twitter, several Cryptic Studios employees have posted on LinkedIn that they were recently laid off. This includes gameplay engineer Dave Nishbal, senior technical artist Chris Penny, and also senior game designer Jesse Higgins. The extent of the cuts is unclear, but overall, Cryptic Studios currently employs just under 180 people via LinkedIn. Now, it is worth noting that the employees clarified that it hasn't lost their jobs yet, but judging by the different posts, most of them were written on Friday. It seems that dozens of Cryptic staffers are now looking for roles at other companies. Among them are several artists, senior community manager Mike Phantom, sound designer Nigel L. Wilson, lead designer Andy Maurer, and many more. He says, quote, "When everyone around you is facing such a tumultuous, chaotic future, how can you remain optimistic?" Staff tech analyst Robert Main wrote, "If it's very difficult as it's been a norm of late and heartbreaking amount of about other people, and I'm open to discussion possibilities of trying to figure out the next step." So you can see a bunch of people, leaving. Now, founded in 2000, Cryptic Studios is best known for the MMO game like City of Heroes, loved City of Heroes, Star Trek Online, and Neverwinter. It remains independent until 2008 when it was acquired by Atari in 2011. Perfect World Entertainment snapped up the studio for an undisclosed sum. And Embracer Group became the new owner of Cryptic Studios in February of 2022 after completing the acquisition of Perfect World Entertainment. The developer became a subsidiary of Gearbox, which is one of the operative groups within the Swedish holding company. Now, layoffs of Zen Studios. Zen Studios was another developer that was hit with layoffs last week on Friday the 13th. It was fired from the current job together with more than 30 of the colleagues, former community managers Adam Denies wrote on X. According to videogamelayoffs.com, that's an actual website, videogamelayoffs.com. Awesome. Which tracks layoffs in game industry. The latest cuts affect 32 people. This could be a major blow to a relatively small company which just has over 80 employees. That's a lot of employees. That's half the staff. Founded in 2003, Zen Studios was developed numerous pinball games, including Pinball FX, Zen Pinball, and those licensed characters from popular franchises. Last year, it realized Circus Electric, which was combined a Darkest Dungeons-like combat with circus management elements. Zen Studios was acquired by Embracer Group in 2020 through Saber Interactive. Here's what the studio COO, Mel Kirk, told us about the operation under the Swedish holding company. "Life at Zen is much the same today as it was before the acquisition. The only real difference is that we're empowered to think bigger. We have more resources and we have the ability to start transforming and developments into larger scale projects. The natural progression for the business opportunity and responsibilities is a thing that are steadily getting bigger and bigger and with more opportunities to succeed." Now, many Embracer-owned studios have already been affected by layoffs, and since Embracer Group announced the restructuring program in June, it has laid off 300 people at least across 8 internal studios. Campfire Cabal closed. Around 18 employees got fired. Violation closed. Around 240 employees. Gearbox Publishing is unclear at this time. Crystal Dynamics around 10 employees. Rainbow Studios is unclear. Beamdog around 23 employees. Zen Studios over 30 employees. And Cryptic Studios is unclear. Now, the goal of the program is to reduce the company's net debt from SEK and 16.75 billion, which is 1.53 billion, to the least of SEK 8 billion, and 732 million by March 31st of 2024. Now, as Embracer CEO Lars Wingford told investors last month, more layoffs may happen until the deadline. "We ultimately are making decisions to either restructure or downsize some teams, and there will be a few cases of closures to difficult that could take time. But we announced it in June, and now we're at the end of September, and we're confident to deliver on the targets that we set out to end of the fiscal year." So there you go. Embracer Group is clearing house, and they're going to continue clearing house until work gets better. No, I'm kidding. So, look, this is why a lot of people talk about how they don't want consolidation, right? Consolidation, people like myself or you are like, I don't like it. But at the same time, it doesn't affect me or you as consumers, okay? It only affects the people in the industry. If I was still in the industry and my camera union went on strike, I would go on strike. The only way it affects you is because movies won't be getting made, like the writer strike or the actor strike going on, okay? If everyone loses their job, okay, then there wouldn't be anything. But that's not the case. There's still people making video games. They're just closing studios down. And we look at that and go, oh, it's a shame. But a lot of the people that they get fired might be the dead weight, might be people that are just redundancy, might be the people that maybe the studio hasn't made a good game in a couple of years, and they kind of look at it and say, well, we'll buy the company, keep what's good in the company, move those people to other parts of the company, and we'll just close that studio down. And these are all terrible things for people that work in the industry or work for these companies. But in the bigger picture, it's what businesses do. They buy companies up to keep this from rising and rising. And then they have to fire this and fire that to make this keep going, to make it look like they're not losing money. So this is sad that Embracer Group, what do they have, 142? I think they have 142 titles or IPs that they own, if I'm not mistaken, okay, which is insane, okay? They have something well over 120. I know that. I don't know if it's 142 exactly, but they have a lot of IPs that they have to work with, and they don't really need the studios that are working on it. They could always pitch it over to someone else, and then use the franchises that are going to make them money, because that's what businesses want to do, make money. I know it's a shocker and surprise, but look, this is going to keep continuing happening. I personally think that Embracer Group, to save money, is going to sell off studios. They're going to sell off studios, and I think they're going to sell off studios to anyone that wants to buy. If that's Apple, if that's Netflix, if that's Google, if that's Sony, if that's Nintendo, or if that's Xbox. Everyone is up for grabs for Embracer Group because they need to cut the costs. And I think that at this point, there's a lot of studios out there, studios, not publishers, but studios that can actually get picked up by any of these players in the game, because now everyone is a player in the game. It's not just Sony. It's not just Nintendo. It's not just Microsoft, okay? Because of cloud gaming, because of the way digital gaming is happening and streaming from the cloud and whatnot, Netflix, Google, Apple, okay, even Facebook are all contenders now inside this. And I see Embracer Group setting themselves up where they're like, who wants this? Who wants that? But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. Please make sure you share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. Should be excited for Spider-Man 2, but I think I'm going to wait and get it through my backlog first. Yeah, I'm excited for Spider-Man. I didn't get Miles Morales right when it came out. It took me a while to get that one. I also didn't get Spider-Man when it came out right away. I think we got it like a year after, and I wasn't spoiled by anything. So, I mean, I don't go out looking for spoilers, so I should be okay. And even if someone comes in and spoils something, it doesn't really matter to me. Let's see here. PlayStation 2 games, over 90% of the OG posts from you was saying it would be nice if Xbox had games over 90% when they have more than PlayStation 1 first party. Speaking of Friday 13th, sad to hear it's going down. 2 hours for D4 Season 2. There's a lot of stuff coming out today, isn't there? I think the Sea of Thieves does their update today. I think, obviously, you got Season 2 of Diablo. There's a couple other things they're coming out today. Consolidation is bad, pure and simple. Here's the thing, though, Travis. You and me can't do anything about it, right? You and me can get like upset about it, but what did we do when the cable company is consolidated? What did we do when the phone company is consolidated? What did we do when the banks consolidated? Nothing. Nothing. We have no control over it, right? It makes a great topic. We can have conversations like we can fix something or do something, but unless you're in a council or in the government that can actually stop these things from happening, you're not gonna do anything. You as the customer are going to have to deal with it, whatever it is, right? Only the people that truly want to change something can change it. But a lot of us can't do anything. So did you hear about the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max screens burn-in issues? I have not, Dupless. But I would assume there's a lot of stuff going to be happening there. This is why I never get tech brand new right when it comes out. Because from the beginning of time, you are a tester. You're a tester for brand new cars, brand new tech, brand new games. It doesn't really matter. The people that pay the most are the play testers, no matter what it is. Brand new Teslas come out. There was problems with the Teslas when they came out, but the people that paid the most money, they tested it, and then people made the fixes. If you get the new tech, Android or Apple or whatever it is, or new computer or new graphics card, you are the testers. You pay full price, and you test the stuff out. And with video games, you get the pre-orders, you get the $120 version, $150 version. You are the play tester. You get to test out the games and let other people get it fixed, and then you get it 16 months later, and it's a much better game than it was when it came out. It's par for course. Par for the course. Oh, Infinite, Season 5. Thank you. Another Halo. All right, that's another part of the game. You're getting Spider-Man 2 because of consolidation. That's right. Not even sure how to join the Illuminati. Oh, sorry, government. Don't you lie, 30. PlayStation 5 was perfect launch. Well, there was no games when it came out, but that was a different point, though. I mean, you had games. You had like 2 games come out, but what I'm saying is there wasn't a massive games coming out because of what happened in the industry, right? Because of the supply shortage, Sony was like, why release all these games on PlayStation 5? No one's buying them right now because we the supply shortage. So you had to wait a couple years to get the stuff, right? But that wasn't their fault. That was the industry's fault, right? Because of what happened. Dupless and Krebsy fight to the death fighting game. Right, and imagine, though, Travis, just like what Dupless just said about the iPhone 15, right? Things were a problem. There wasn't, like, physical problems with the PlayStation 5 when it came out, right? Like, it didn't blow up or anything like that. But when you bought the game as a brand new person, you got the technology first thing, and what about if you didn't like Returnal? Like, you're just not a roguelike guy. Or if you didn't like, what was the other one? I forget what the other game was called. You guys are PlayStation guys that played it. I don't know what it is. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. You'll say it in chat in a second. But there was very few games that came out at launch of a PlayStation, right? This is why most people adopt a new system 2 years, 3 years into the cycle, because at that point, there's like 5, 6, 8 games that are out that are like for the next gen system. So again, it's not PlayStation's problem. It just so happens that was the problem because of the pandemic we were in with the supply chain. Ratchet and Clank, did it come out exactly at let's see. PlayStation 5 release date was November 12th. Okay. June 11th. So it came out like 6 months after. Darksiders, that's what it was. Thank you, Sean. Or 7 months after. Yeah, that's what I just said, Rose. Oh, no. That's what it was, Ron. Demon Souls. That was it, not Darksiders. It was Demon Souls. Sorry, Sean. It was Demon Souls. Yeah, but Miles wasn't a PlayStation 5 exclusive though, Rose. That also came out on the 4 as well. Wasn't Demon Souls just on PlayStation 5? Ratchet and Clank, Demon Souls, and Returnal, right? I knew it was one of those games like that type of game. I knew it started with a D too, but I didn't know what it was, which one, until I saw it. Until Ron said Demon Souls. Right. Horizon Forbidden West has DLC that's only PlayStation 5, but the game itself came out on PlayStation 4. That's my point though. Because of the supply chain, the games that they wanted to make PlayStation 5s, they couldn't anymore. Because the games were coming out, but there wasn't enough systems out there to justify. Otherwise, those sales would have been horrific. If they just put it for PlayStation 5, those sales would have been horrific. But because they came out for PlayStation 4, they sold much, much better. And when I say horrific, I mean just for the amount of player base that had PlayStation 5s at the time, because of the supply chain. Like you don't want to come out with a AAA game like Horizon Forbidden West where it's only on PlayStation 5 and there's only 10 million units out there. Do you know what I mean? That would have been catastrophic for a game like that. All right. Let's go to the next topic. Man, Netflix 2 days in a row. Crazy. Netflix 2 days in a row. If you guys are just coming in, if you'd like to help us out, if you're just lurking in the background, welcome. You don't have to speak. You don't have to do anything except hit that like button. If you're in the chat right now and listening to the stream, hit that like button. Helps us out. We're a very small channel. We're trying to do something different than other people. I mean, everyone else does shows where they talk to the chat. We bring up conversations. We're not swayed to one side or the other. We just have conversations. We read the news. My stance on video games is that I hate when game companies come out with incomplete games, broke, buggy, unfinished games, right? I don't care if it's on PlayStation. I don't care if it's on PC. I don't care if it's on Xbox or Nintendo. I hate that. That's my stance, right? That I want the industry to do better as the stuff. I don't care what box you play on. I don't care anything like that. So if you like it, hit that like button down below. Become a subscriber, and we also do massive amount of shows. I mean, we do live shows Monday through Thursday for about 2 to 3 hours. Then we also do gameplay in the evening, about 3 to 4 hours. And then we also do uploads every day of the week. Every day of the week, we're going to do uploads, and it's breakout videos from this or other videos that I do. And then we do a podcast to end the week for our live shows Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, called Generation X Gaming, where I'm joined by Sarge McCluskey, and we talk about video game news and have a good time, right? So that's what's happening. So if you guys like what we do here, again, help us out by hitting that like button, subscription, or if you'd like to become a member, as little as $5. There's no incomplete games, 30. Only games that need day one patches. That's true, Water. That's true. All right. Let's go with the next topic. No. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 30NSG. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about Netflix testing streaming games to US TVs to take on PlayStation and Xbox. But before I get to this, if you're watching this after the fact, please make sure you share, like, subscribe. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member. We do these live every single day, Monday through Thursday, from 10 o'clock in the morning to about noon Eastern. This is a breakout video of the live stream. If you'd like to come in and have conversations with chat and myself live, come on by any day, Monday through Thursday, from 10 o'clock till noon Eastern. All right, so Netflix testing out streaming games to the US TVs to take on PlayStation and Xbox. Netflix will now let some users in the US stream games on their TVs or computers. Isn't this really convenient? Okay, isn't this really convenient? I'm telling you. You guys keep doubting me where I say that games, right? Before it was just Google Stadia and Game Pass. Okay, or actually I'm Project xCloud, not Game Pass. And now everyone and their mother is coming out with a cloud streaming thing to your television set. It's amazing. And it's amazing because all of these companies now are streaming to your television set where you don't need a box. So very interesting. Let's continue. So Netflix is expanding its game streaming beta to the US, and the company announced an update to the blog post. The feature, which lets you play games streamed from the cloud on devices like your TV or computer, launched first in August in Canada and the UK. Now, in a blog post, Netflix notes that it's a limited beta test, so it seems like it won't be available to too many people to start. Now, Netflix uses the same limited language with the initial launch in Canada and the UK, like with the original test, and the only two games available to stream are Oxenfree on Netflix's own Night School Studios and another title called Moyu's Mining Adventure. Now, if you have access to the service, you'll need to download Netflix's special controller app for your iPhone or Android device to play the games on your TV. Now, Netflix says that the stream games work on select devices, including Amazon Fire TV devices, Chromecast, and Google TV, Roku devices, and TVs, and more on the web. You'll be able to play games with a mouse and keyboard. Now, Netflix has a steadily growing in games library and offering as many ways to offer more benefits to subscribers. The vast majority of its games are available on mobile devices, but the company has been vocal about the interest in expanding beyond the iOS and Androids. According to Monday report from the Wall Street Journal, the company is planning to release games based on its own hit franchises like Squid Games, Wednesday Extraction, Black Mirror, and it has a discussion with Take-Two about licensing a game from Grand Theft Auto series, which is pretty crazy, which goes into our next part, which is part 2 of the same topic. A new Grand Theft Auto could be coming to Netflix games. Okay, a new Grand Theft Auto game and maybe in the horizon. And no, we're not talking about Grand Theft Auto 6. Instead, it sounds like a streaming giant Netflix wants the taste of Grand Theft Auto Pie and reportedly trying to get Grand Theft Auto game of some kind onto Netflix game service. Now, this comes from a report of Wall Street Journal today covering the company's ongoing efforts to make the game make a meal on out of his library of original IP in the game space after acquiring a number of game development studios. The report claims that the company has discussed plans to release Grand Theft Auto game on its service through the licensing deal with publisher Take-Two Interactive. What kind of game would it be, or would the develop it, remains to be seen. Now, any GTA spinoff would likely be a mobile game. As things now stand, any GTA spinoff ended up on Netflix would inevitably be a mobile game, as currently the only way to play Netflix portfolio is through its mobile app. Now, reports suggest that Netflix hopes eventually to expand its library to include games that can be streamed from TV or PC, which we just read. And according to one of the analysts speaking to the Wall Street Journal, Netflix has spent about $1 billion on games so far, and it seems that aiming to hire more game exclusives to oversee, or executives, sorry, to oversee a foray into AAA titles. But there's currently no good way of telling exactly how well the investment is paying off for the company or whether it ever will. Rather, the standalone purchases of the games are tied into Netflix subscriptions, which will get an updated figure on during the company's earnings on Wednesday, but there's no way of knowing if the games are conceiving people subscribe. They don't seem to provide any special strong draw to existing subscribers, though. As of September 20th, these games have been downloaded 70.5 million times total, and that also sounds like a lot, but it's a far cry from the massive numbers it pulled in the world's biggest mobile games. For instance, Star Rail manages to over 20 million downloads by itself on launch day one alone earlier this year. Okay, and also fewer than 1% of Netflix subscribers play games on a daily basis, perhaps the unsurprising given that much of its catalog, including the most prestige titles of Oxenfree, Immortal, Spiritfarer, and also others available now. We previously wrote about Netflix's big video game push earlier this year, but it sounds like the landscape hasn't changed much since then. While the big Grand Theft Auto release would potentially turn the tide, it's also possible that the immense Grand Theft Auto 6 release elsewhere would drastically overshadow whatever Netflix cooks up. That's 100% true, right? If Netflix comes out and gets a Grand Theft Auto, now obviously, let's go down the rabbit hole here. If Netflix was absolutely crazy, I don't think this is happening in any way, shape, or form, but let's say they're not making a pitch for a Grand Theft Auto spinoff. Let's say they want to get Grand Theft Auto 6. Like, they want to buy Grand Theft Auto 6, maybe exclusivity for a time being on Netflix, okay, that would be huge. That would be an earth-shatter type of thing, because right now, as we stand, I think I could say for you guys, you would be like, no way, I am not playing a game on Netflix or whatever. But at the same time, if you wanted to play it, that's the only place you could play it for the first 6 months. If it was a time exclusive, I think most of us would be like, I'll wait. I'm not playing on Netflix, right? People don't want to play on Epic Game Store from Steam, and all they gotta do is move the mouse from here to here, right? To open up the other browser or open up the launcher. So it's interesting though, right? I've said this in the past. If you guys watch my show, I've said that all these big players, Meta, Facebook, right? Apple, Google, Amazon, they're one big payoff away from becoming a potential player in the gaming space. Okay. Right now, they're not. Okay. Apple has the biggest mobile market. Okay. But if they really wanted to get into the gaming space, they're going up against, right? Amazon's got over 200 million people. Netflix has over 200 million subscribers. Apple has well over 200 million people, right? Every single of these companies has potential to get to more people than Xbox, Sony, and Nintendo combined. Okay? Combined, there's only like 325 million consoles out there that people are playing with the latest, greatest games. Okay? Where if Disney wants to buy EA, or Apple wants to buy EA, or somebody else wants to buy EA, if they can put enough money on the table to go, yeah, we're taking this one game or this one company, and if they're not buying it, but they license it out for a timed exclusive, that would completely change the game. Now, as far as Netflix getting into the video game market, it makes sense to them, right? Because they're already in over 200 million homes with the Netflix subscription. But they're not known for video games. They're trying to wedge themselves in a space that they're not. And they're going to have problems, in my opinion, like Google did, because Google didn't have the proper foundation laid down, where in cloud gaming, the Google Stadia was actually really good, but it was a stupid business model because you had to pay for extra stuff. Now, what Luna's doing and what Netflix is doing, you don't have to pay extra. You're just paying for that service, and you're getting those games that are on the cloud service. Okay, where Stadia was like, well, you're getting these, or you got to pay for the game again, even though you already own the game, which is like, yeah, no one's doing that, right? Very few people are going to do that, and that's where they failed, not because of the technology itself. Now with all these live service streamings that are coming out, now with PlayStation, Nintendo will probably get into the game as well with streaming on the cloud. We have xCloud. You have Amazon Luna. You have Netflix now. You're going to have Apple, right? All of these companies are doing the exact same thing. The same thing you saw with the television and film industry with all these sub-services coming out. Now you're going to see the cloud services coming out and individual programs, just like you saw the streaming services. Ubisoft Plus, EA Plus, plus, right? Like all of these things that are coming out, it's all going to happen. It's all going to happen faster and sooner because the industry is ready to move forward. They want to get rid of physical copies of the game. They want to get cloud streaming to your TVs, okay? All of these companies already have access to your television sets. If it's a Roku, if it's an Amazon, right? It doesn't really matter, okay? So what do I think about Netflix? Do I think Netflix can buy a Grand Theft Auto spinoff? Sure, but when's it coming out? When's it coming out? It better not come out in the next year or two, because if the rumors are true and Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out sometime next year or 2025, if Netflix comes out, they better have it already ready to go, or they better wait, because when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, no other Grand Theft Auto, Netflix would waste money, because no one's going to go to Netflix to play the mobile game when Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming on the horizon. These are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. Please make sure you share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Nice. How now another company Microsoft can buy. Right. Why would Microsoft buy them? I don't know if anyone's buying Netflix, but just a joke. GTA 6 exclusively on Netflix. That would be like a mic drop, right? All of a sudden a player comes out. Now, I don't think Rockstar would do it exclusively like forever. I think they would do exclusive like 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, something like that. Travis says, I love Microsoft. They're proof that a lot of people watch Kung Fu doesn't make them Bruce Lee. Microsoft watches Sony to be great, doesn't make them Sony. Robert Jones says, I'm still pressing X to doubt. This is a quick time event, Jones. Netflix cloud service, no shocker. Yeah, but the thing is, Jesse, they already have the users, right? They already have 200 million people. That's 100 million more than anybody else. Actually, that's 150 million more than anyone else. Okay? So all they have to do is implement a game there, and then boom. They're like, oh, damn, Netflix is a player all of a sudden. I'd be quick to kill GTA 6 if it's through exclusivity. I figured it was too civil there. There needed to be a stir of the pot. Man, it's crazy that Remnant 2 is amazing, but Lords of the Fallen is meh. I don't expect other way around. But is it the same type of game? I guess it is. If it's included in the normal streaming, it might get a little traction. It is, Reese. The gaming is already included in the streaming of your Netflix already. I'm an original founder of Stadia, and it ran good. Yeah, the problem wasn't Stadia itself, Ron. Stadia itself was good technology. It was their business model that screwed them over. If Google paired with Amazon Luna, Stadia would have a long lifespan. I don't see that happening, though. I can see them selling off the technology. I don't know if they partner up, though. Netflix games includes Virtual Signal Sim and Turbo Swan Pin races. Ron, Amazon Luna runs great, and Call of Duty is expected to come to Luna via Ubisoft Twitter/X. Liza P just passed, I think, 1 million sales. I think I just saw that on Twitter today. Sales, 1 million, not players, like sales. Remnant 2 is not the same type of game as Lords of the Fallen. I didn't think it was. I was just looking at it as more of a, because of like the boss fights and stuff like that. But it's not a Dark Souls type of game, right? Isn't Lords of the Fallen more of a like a Souls game, and Remnant 2 isn't? I guess Remnant 2 is Souls-like because of the guns, but I don't know. Amazon Luna is subscription-based, though, so it could have worked. Nice. It deserves it that the game is optimization of the game is unreal. Like, they deserve props for running as good as it did in the first game. Round 1, fight. So what do you guys think? Do you think, I don't want to say, do you think Netflix, I mean, obviously, do you think Netflix gets a standalone, their own Grand Theft Auto game that goes on mobile, right? Goes on their type of service? Or do you think they make a bid? They shake up the industry. Could you imagine Sony and Xbox would be like, their mouth would be wide open, right? They're worried about like Apple and Amazon and Google, right, to get in on this, and all of a sudden Netflix is like, yeah, Grand Theft Auto 6 is exclusive on Netflix. I would be like, what? That would be insane. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm sure someone will clip it and say, oh yeah, 30 thinks it's going to happen. I think we need a new NBA Jam. I would love a new NBA Jam. He's on fire. Boom, 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 boom. Bring back EA big. Well, didn't they? Isn't this? Where's that game I just saw? They just came out with a. What is it? What the hell's that game called? It's a football game that's coming. That's out now. That reminds me of EA Big. It's got Kaepernick on the goddamn cover. What is it called? Wild card. Thank you, Eclipse. This is 100% EA big. This right here. This right here is 100% NFL Blitz, EA big. That's what this is. This actually looks pretty fun compared to like a Madden. You know what I mean? Godly, this guy on tutorial mode. Jesus. If it plays like NFL Blitz or NFL Street, I'm in. I mean, it looks like a fun game. I don't know. I'm sure there's microtransactions. I can't say that off the top of my head because I didn't look. I haven't done any research on this. I just know it's here, right? But it does remind me of that NFL Blitz EA big. I've said in the past, I would be. Oh, it's got cards. Oh, look at this. It's got cards. Cards in a football game, huh? Oh, for God's sakes. Is this Unreal? It has a Fortnite art style? I mean, it could be. I have no idea. It's 2K, so it definitely has microtransactions. I wonder if it's pay to win with this card system. Oh, once you use your cards, you can only increase. Okay, hold on. Increase your team's strength stat by 50%. You'll come in like a wrecking ball. So he's punting, and he's doing a. They're coming in at 50% strength. Oh, that's pretty fun. People don't want this, Travis. People don't want card systems in their game. They just want to play a game. So a lot of people don't want to have any kind of strategy, like in certain types of games, right? I like card games. Like I like board games, right? And I'm okay with card games in certain systems of certain games. But certain games you're like, I don't know. Like, for instance, take Baldur's Gate 3, right? Would you take the dice mechanic from Dungeons and Dragons and put it in a football game? Okay? If a football game had a dice roll where my running back, as I hand the ball off or throw the ball, right before he catches it, it pauses, and then you have to roll dice to see if he catches it. Would you play that? That would suck, wouldn't it? Because certain games don't need certain mechanics. Right? Certain things don't need that mechanic. Right, Jones. Blood Bowl. How popular is Blood Bowl? Popular within a small group, but not very popular. Let's see. We got 2 more, 3 more. Since football sucks, I'm for anything that makes it better. Then try Blood Bowl. I need an actual fantasy football game where my dragon can eat your elf. I mean, I think you got something there. All right. Let's go with the next topic. Appreciate you guys coming out and hanging out with us today. Tuesday edition. That would make the game interesting, but also make the game 15-minute quarters last an hour. Yeah, so almost like real football. The last 2 minutes last a half hour. It'll really make it feel like it. EA would have you be able to influence the dice rolls. I wonder, you know what? I want to look up now. Let's see. What's happening here? I'm typing and it's not. Does wild card Wildcard football promises no microtransactions, and fitting with the theme, players can trade in duplication found from card packs for currency used to buy other cards. So there's an in-game currency, but there's no actual currency. So there's no microtransactions. Well, there you go. Does anyone know if Planet Coaster is any fun? I love Planet Coaster. If you like those roller coaster tycoon type of games, Travis, it's a phenomenal game. It's a phenomenal game. I was sad the reboot of SSX sold poorly. I mean, what was that other one? Republic something, or the bikers and the planes and the whatever, something Republic. Riders Republic. Thank you, Makoki. That didn't sell very well. That's not the same. No. But what I'm saying is, it is that same type of game, right? It's that same type of game as that. There was what was the other game? I had used to be a snowboarder, and then there was like you could do a squirrel suit. There was another game like that. None of those games really sell fantastic. I think the next version of Pilot Wings. I loved Pilot Wings back in the day. Silent Warrior. Steep. Is that what it was? I think it was Steep, Jesse. Yes, that was it. Yeah. I played that game pretty good for like a solid week, and then I was done with it. All right. Let's go with the next story. I gotta get a new chair, man. Let me tell you something. Don't ever break your tailbone. I broke my tailbone when I was 30 years old, and no chair I get helps me. I got the extra like cushion thing, and just never Never feels good. And it doesn't help that I sit for this long. Maybe I'll have to start doing the news show standing up. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 30NSG. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about City Skylines 2. Publisher has bad news about the game's launch. But before I get to this, if you like what we do here, we do these shows Monday through Thursday, 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern, live in chat. If you can't make it to those shows, you can watch this show, this video right here. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. And again, appreciate you coming out and hanging out. All right, so City Skylines 2 publisher has bad news about the game's launch. City Skylines 2 publisher Paradox Interactive shares some bad news about the upcoming launch with much anticipated city builder. Now, City Skylines 2 won't have mod support at launch, Paradox Interactive has revealed. This confirmation arrived as part of a wider update in the City Skylines sequel. That's also saw its publisher vow that the weight of the game's mod support will be very much be worth it. Originally released in 2015, City Skylines is still touted as one of the best city builders of all time. That's in no small part thanks to the executive support of the modding and elevated Colossal Orders title from the compelling management sim, and also incredible expansive experience and the near infinite replay value. Now, while it's in the sequel, we'll also be looking to build the momentum. It also won't support third-party content at launch, Paradox has announced. This is in one small part due to the way modding will work in the upcoming game. Instead of offering community modifications via established frameworks like in Steam Workshop, which is how City Skylines handles mods, this follow-up will use a proprietary content platform called Paradox Mods. Although the same service was previously integrated into over a dozen other Paradox-published titles, its support for City Skylines 2 will still necessitate some of the additional development efforts will also prevent them from being available on day one. Now, Paradox cited exclusivity as the main reason for the decision of a circumvented established solution, while Steam Workshop is the Nexus mods in favor of the proprietary modding platform for City Skylines 2. Now, elaborating on the point of the publisher revealed that the service community content via Paradox mods will allow you to offer such modifications across both PC and console. In contrast, only PC versions of the original game allowed modding. There are also currently no plans for the city builder to support alternative mod platforms, presumably so that the drive of the adoption rate of Paradox mods. Now, the publisher also revealed that City Skylines 2 mod support is currently in closed beta as part of the stage for development, and the features has been rolled out to some established third-party content creators who are now working on beefing up the game's selection of modifications. Paradox said that the fact that City Skylines 2 uses an entirely new code base means that the upcoming game won't directly support any mods developed in the predecessors. Now, Paradox also acknowledged that the developers of the Colossus failed to achieve the initial performance benchmark they targeted, which is also reflected in the recent decision to raise the game's system requirements, and also while turns the event signal that City Skylines 2 might not offer the most optimized performance at launch. Moving ahead with its 2023 release was still deemed as the best way forward. Now, the publisher said, as a reminder, City Skylines was initially targeted for multi-platform launch on October 24th. However, the date is now only valid for the PC version of the game after the Colossal and Paradox delayed the console ports of City Skylines 2 back in September. City Skylines 2 will launch on October 24th on PC, with the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XS ports being slated to release in June 30th of 2024. So, look, a lot of people look at this and say, good. Like, don't release a game if it's not working. I look at this that even though they're coming out October 24th, which is just in a few days, okay, next week, that they're releasing this on PC. Now, I understand that at PC it's running fine, on consoles it's not, but I do find it weird that they're releasing it on PC and also the mod support's not going to be working on day one. This is just one of those things that, again, it's personal. It's nothing against the game itself. It's the industry as a whole that they're like, yeah, features that were going to be in the game are not going to be in the game when it comes out. It'll be in the game at a later time, yet you're going to pay full price for a game when it comes out, but not have all the features that it has. And here's the thing. If it sells well, then they'll support it faster. If it doesn't sell well, then they'll be like, whatever it is. So I'm okay with City Skylines being delayed on consoles. Okay. It was supposed to be day and date on Game Pass. It's supposed to be on PlayStation, not on PlayStation Plus, but it was supposed to come out the exact same time as the PC version. But the console version is having a little bit of trouble, and I do admire them for pushing that back. But I also hate that they release on one console and then also not fully support it on PC with their mods. Why not just wait? Why not just wait, work on your game just a little longer, and then release it? But they have to make their money on day one, and obviously, City Skylines is more popular on console. I'm sorry, on PC than it is console. So I understand why they're getting it out, but I also I would personally wait to download this game or play this game once the mod support comes in, because if you played City Skylines 1, you know that mods are all over the place, man. There were so many DLCs and mods that I downloaded for the first time I played it. It's an amazing game. I'm really excited to play City Skylines 2, but I hate that just yet another company is just like, yeah, we're all in on one day of launching on all platforms to, well, we're taking half the consoles, or we're taking all the consoles and shoving them back 7 months to come out June 30th. Oh, and then we're not taking the stuff that was supposed to be on the game at launch, and now we're taking that and moving that down the line. We don't know when that's coming in. I hate that. I wish that these companies would just learn the lessons from other companies and not release anything until you have a solid game for all platforms. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. Is this going to stop you from playing City Skylines 2 because there's no mod support on day one? Or is this just a little speed bump? You're like, you know what? I'm gonna have so much content in City Skylines 2. It's not gonna matter because I don't care about the mod support down the road anyway. And if you're a person that was playing on console and you were excited and you didn't know about the delay from October 24th to June 30th next year, let me know. Are you disappointed in this, or are you going to get it on PC now? Again, please make sure you share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. Sarge says City Skylines destroyed SimCity. Fuck off, EA. Don't give a shit. There was a thing that I had the other day, Sarge. It was in submitted stories. I saw it the other day and I posted it. They were talking about the fall of SimCity. Yeah, here it is. SimCity launched a decade ago, and it was so disastrous it killed the series. Okay. Launch SimCity 2013 was cataclysmic, but it never really stood a chance. Okay. It says, it was a heartbreak, saying SimCity lead designer coming into the office the next day, and I remember EA had paratroopers to serve the IT people in, and then just nosed, and the new people, everybody's scrambling. Alarm bells were going off, and it was like, oh, what is going on? It said the worst outcome for to years of work on unraveling before them. The game had dedicated so much time, it was in free fall, and any chance of recovering from the damage looked slim. Players were angry, developers were frustrated, the executives were disappointed, and it was 2013 and SimCity had collapsed. 4 years earlier, developer Maxis had set out to create the next installment and beloved city building series. It had just finished up an Alien Simulator Spore to mixed receptions, leaving studio veterans Ocean and Andrew Wilmot time to tinker around the side project inspired by The Sims, another massive Maxis series. Now, in the scope of players' choice, they wanted to try their hand at building a new type of simulation engine. They started work on one essentially a tech demo, but then the only hope would be offered to even gradually Sims the studio had reputation for. So it says, quote, we weren't sure that we was going to do with it at all. Okay, he says, just as an R&D project, one engineer, one artist, and one was cheap for EA to prototype. It showed promise, and executives at the publisher spiced up the opportunity. The isometric camera, rudimentary visuals of SimCity 4 were beginning to look dated next to the biggest AAA games of the day, and the multi-million-dollar series hadn't received a sequel in several years. EA was just looking to justify the time and money it had already spent on this experiment and transmogging into other follow-up, and one of the most successful franchises seemed to be gone. EA gave the green light to do a duo to explore whether the new simulation tech could scale up to the size of full game. It says also that the leading artist on the back of the architecture, a handful of others, finally to gasp after a further 6-month prototyping phase, development began in earnest, and ambitions for what is at the point of morphed into the next mainline SimCity were set high. As the project ramped up, more developers joined EA, largely took the back seat, although they did make one request that SimCity should step outside of the single-player bubble and embrace a fade-for-moment multiplayer. It was definitely like he needed to do it because at the time every game had multiplayer components for expected to have multiplayer. but the recalls the team, Maxis, was largely on board with the idea. Though the having players teamed up for the construction sites in neighborhood regions, they interact with one another by trading resources, sharing services, or populating the common environment seemed like a natural step forward to further realism. Multiplayer soon became one of the game's headline features as well as the main selling point to the marketing leader up to launch. Okay. So after that, it said struck down. The SimCity launched on March 6th and required players to maintain the active online connection to the game's servers. And that connection dropped, and they also booted from the game. The problem simply seemed insignificant, and there wasn't enough server space to go around. Players were met with frequent crashes, extreme latency, extraordinarily long load times, disconnections, delayed downloads, swats of unable to get into the game at all, and endlessly hanging into the launch menu to let alone experience the fresh multiplayer city building they were promised. The games were server blocked under the tidal wave of players trying to connect, and there was no substance on the horizon. Unable to play the game, players didn't hold back their criticism. Neither did the press. Initially, high review scores were drastically downgraded. The Maxis has spent next week scrambling to expand server capacity. We felt bad for what happened, and General Manager Lucy Bradshaw said something to the Meta Culpa shortly after. We're hoping that it won't stay mad at us. And though Friends Again at SimCity is running at 100%, adding EA would offering a disgruntled players their pick of a free game and compensation. While fans were angry, feelings into Maxis were much rosier. EA had sent additional technicians to the studio to bolster the servers and had woefully overestimated, but it didn't have infrastructure to respond at the speeds. Work was necessary, slow-moving, frustrating. Okay, every time they would unblock one pitch point, they would just discover the next one. Man, this sounds like a big clusterfuck, huh? The capacity gradually improved over the next couple of weeks, but EA stuck to its guns. Bradshaw released another statement to ease fans' backlash, this time justifying that always online connection required that had prevented so many from playing. She framed it a necessary caveat to SimCity's real-time multiplayer experience, although they didn't quite tell the full story. Okay, SimCity was one of the most pirated series of all time, and so there was a directive to find. So how can they make an unpiratable... One of the ways to do so is to keep a lot of data on the servers so that there's nothing to really hack. You could also hack your own copy of it and then still have validate it by the servers. EA had experimented with anti-piracy systems using Maximus games in the past, releasing Spore and strict DRM policies to limit the number of computers that were doing the disk copy could be installed. But with SimCity, the publisher had its sights set on even bigger cash cow beyond individual unit sales. EA had released a digital storefront, Origins 2 years earlier, that was looking to drive users to the platform and hoped to turning it into a serious competitor to Steam. Just as Valve initially encouraged take-ups of the platform by requesting installation by Play Half-Life 2, EA wanted to pull a similar trick with SimCity. So now it became an abandoned city. This is a big article. It didn't pan out well for EA and Max's stabilization SimCity servers in the following weeks through the maintenance of the months later successfully shipped the expansion. But rather than marking the beginning of a long, fruitful development period in which SimCity content would be expanded upon, it rang of the game's death sound. Plans to future expansions were dropped. EA moved on to its next project for a series of mobile SimCity spin-offs that hoped it could develop more quickly and much higher profit margins. They completely just fucked up this game big time. Completely screwed up this game big time. And now it's full of microtransactions and time management on the mobile game. Imagine a game that was beloved by so many people, and now it's an afterthought. And this is why City Skylines came out in 2015. Okay, 2 years after the SimCity debacle, and it became one of the most successful and most groundbreaking sim building games ever. Between Wreckfest and Planet Coaster, I'm starting to think your stuff. You know your stuff. Well, you've lost all credibility with me, Travis, and I mean this truly because you called me a hypocrite multiple times and never answered. You did apologize, but I still don't take anything you say anymore. Sounds like it's all EA. I mean, EA EA is the death of games. This is where companies come to die, right? I mean, they did make successful of Fallen Order and Survivor, right? They did come to Survivor and Fallout or Fallen Order, which are great single player games. But there's a lot of franchises and IPs that come to EA and they absolutely just trash. Westwood Studios killed by EA. There's a lot of studios that were killed by EA. Remember, EA didn't want to give you single-player games. They said nobody wanted to play single-player games, and yet their most popular games ever are single-player games. Skylines is relaxing. I love City Skylines. I love Planet Coaster. Planet Coaster, I used to play a game called Theme Park. Okay, Theme Park back in the day, made by Leapfrog, right? Was it Leapfrog? No, it was oh god, Bullfrog, right? Loved Theme Park. Okay, and then they made Roller Coaster Tycoon. Roller Coaster Tycoon was phenomenal game, right? Phenomenal game. And then Planet Coaster came out. Okay. Planet Coaster came out, and that blows away everything that Roller Coaster Tycoon ever did. Okay. Same thing with City Skylines. I loved SimCity growing up. SimCity was a fantastic game, and then EA got a hold of it and basically turned it into a microtransaction hellscape. I think Theme Park, Sarge, was one of those first games that we played. I don't want to say one of the first games we played, but we would stay up all freaking night to play that game, because the more you played it, the more things you would unlock, and you would see the little guys. Like, let me bring this up, right? Theme Park back in the day, the graphics were absolutely garbage at the time, or they were fantastic, but they're garbage now. Yeah, look at this. This game was fantastic. Let me go to videos here. Right. Oh, I can't show him because that's someone else's. Let's just do Theme Park gameplay. This one? Yeah, that'll work. Like, look at this. The graphics here were garbage. I loved it. This game was so good. Watching all the guys pull up on the bus and people coming out and puking, right, and making a mess, and you would have to hire employees and manage the stuff. I absolutely loved all of this. Right? This where you can click the camera and then ride the ride that you did. So when you were making your coaster or stuff, it was phenomenal. Okay? Then you go from that to Roller Coaster Tycoon. Okay? Right? This is Roller Coaster Tycoon. And this was like night and day. When this came out, I was like, "Holy Christ. This is so much better than Theme Park." Right? This is so much better than let me see if he's got right? So much better. Right? And I love to make the go-kart tracks and stuff. And then you had Roller Coaster 1, 2, 3, expansion after expansion. Okay, and then there's this, right? Then there's Planet Coaster. Planet Coaster is insane. Okay, the amount of detail that you could do, you could literally make your favorite theme park to scale, to like to what it is. People have. It's such a good game. Such a good game. Right? With the roller coasters that you can create, the different visuals that you could do, you could pick every single person in the park and know what they're thinking. You can follow them around, you can look at stuff. Okay? It's insane. I remember playing this on PlayStation 2. You could go first person and check out your theme park. I can't remember what game was called. I think it was Roller Coaster Tycoon, if I'm not mistaken. And this is just the first person stuff, right? Look at this. This is not how you play the game, but you could pick anybody in this game and follow them. Okay, let me show you an actual. Well, these guys are showing what the park is. I just want. I don't. I guess we'll just show it. We'll just show the trailer. It's a minute. And this is on PlayStation right here. This is the PlayStation footage right here. This is a solid game, and it doesn't really go on sale much. I think it's still $40 or something like that right now. In my opinion, it's 100% worth it. I would love to. This is making me want to play. Maybe I'll play this one night on stream. I absolutely love doing the details and little things. You can play this game for hours and do nothing. Imagine that though. Can you? I don't know if they do support, but if you play first person in this and you're playing on your PlayStation, you have a PlayStation VR. I would assume that you could play. You know, as you're walking around, you would feel pretty in immersed in that world. Right? And this is the PlayStation version, right? This is the PlayStation trailer that we're showing you. There's actually real parks like that, Eclipse. They've actually made the actual parks of Disney in the game, and many other theme parks out there. I like games like this. Sometimes I like playing games like this because I don't always want to do the shooties and looties. You know what I mean? Slaughter and blood stuff. I kind of like. My son loves this game. He wants me to buy it for him, but I know he's not going to play it as much, right? And he's like, it's out for this system, it's out for that system. I was like, I'll wait for a sale because I own it on PC. I don't own it. It was on Game Pass, and that's why he got hooked on it. And this is another reason they do what they do. Okay, my son loved it so much he wants me to buy it for him, and I want to buy it for him, but I don't want to buy it for him because I don't think he'll play it as much as he thinks he's going to play it. I'm pretty sure they have. Here, let me see. Hey, here you go. Here's a Hogwarts Legacy or Hogwarts Legacy. Here's a Hogwarts park. Right, Sarge. I think his age is he's not He's too spastic right now. You know what I mean? Like this is insane, right? This is insane. Like, look at this. Come on. The amount of detail that you can do in this game. Like, I didn't even want to talk about this today, but I love this game. I love this game. I like showing games off and stuff like that. Right. This is a game. Exactly right, Sarge. Look at it. Look at it. It's amazing. And you know what the weird part is? I love this game as much as designing it as I love trying to like make it work. You know what I mean? Like the game itself. Like I don't do the scenarios, but I love trying to make the park profitable. But I like building it up and doing all this stuff. And literally, you could work on that one building for days. Yeah, it's great. Phenomenal game, and look at the amount of detail. They literally made the stalls on the inside, and the guy made the buildings with the concession stands, and he puts the tables and stuff down. Like every little bit of detail is made by the person that built this park. Oh, Kylo, I played this game 7 years ago. Absolutely love it. The problem with games like this, though, it takes so much time. Like this game is so good. I don't know if they're making a Planet Coaster 2, but I don't know what they could do on top of this. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how you make this better. Maybe graphically. Like that's not a ride. That building is built around the ride, which is insane. Right? Like that's not a ride that just happens with the tower. Like they made that tower. It's beautiful. The amount of detail that this man put, or girl, not sure, but the person, whoever built this, is insane. Like, look at this. Look at the attention to detail, man. That's a popular ride, huh? Like they put signs with stuff on it. No one's seen that. Then they get on the ride. Look at this. This is amazing. What a beautiful park this person built. And now you're gonna go on the ride. There was a YouTube I watched. I forget the name, but he showed like 1 or 2 parks each week. Yeah, it's this guy, Channel 5 Gaming. He still does. He showcases multiple parks. Yeah, I've been following him for 6-7 years. and this is nothing, Travis. I don't have the sound on, but you could customize the sound and certain points, so like lights go off or fireworks go off or anything like that. Like, you should see what people build for roller coasters. They make like super story plots. Someone built a Star Wars roller coaster, someone built a Ghostbusters roller coaster. It's insane, and it's all themed, and as you cross, it plays certain music and certain storylines, because you can insert your video, or you can insert audio stuff inside the game itself. Crazy. Let's see what else they have. You got Diagon Alley. Like, you know what they could do, and maybe they can do it now, and I don't even know. Can you make your own rides? And what I mean by that is, can you make your own cart on the track? Can you make your own thing? Oh yeah, there's plenty of DLC you could buy. Great for PC too, because if you share the download, people's creations straight to your park, yeah, it's great. Like, look at this roller coaster. This would be sick in VR. This would be great. This is another thing that if I had a VR headset that I could play this game, why go to a park? Save yourself a fortune and sweating and waiting in long lines. Man, that comes in fast inside that station. Oh, is this the other one? This is cool. The fact that you can make the candles and stuff like that in the game. Oh, look at that. Oh man, that my stomach right there can actually feel like the G-forces. That's awesome. Right there. When it hits the, I'm a roller coaster junkie. I love roller coasters. You know what? Me watching this, I'm selling myself. I'm buying it for my son. Yeah. I'm like, man, this is so good. I'm gonna buy it for him. Dude, the attention to detail, I love it. There's some creative people out there, man. And look at this. This is a person that has passion for a video game to make something like this. This is not a developer. This is not anybody. This is just a person that just loves to do this. Oh, you mean like this? You mean like this, Travis? I could literally sit here for days watching videos like this. Look at this. You could download this into your game, right? If you're playing on PC. I don't know if you could do it on PlayStation. It takes so much time, Travis, I would literally implode my channel. The little channel that I have, it would implode. The people that would watch this would that come to my channel now would leave. They'd be like, I'm bored. Oh, this is a great channel, Kylo. This is a great channel. I love that he showcases other people's work, and you get so many ideas for what people are doing. Yeah, this is Channel 5 Gaming. Like this, I want to see this roller coaster. And Chad, just to let you know, this is what happens on our show here, right? There's no structure, right? Something gets brought up, right? So, something gets brought up, and we go down this rabbit hole, and then we just start like stick to it for like 40 minutes, right? Chat is 100% part of our show here, so make sure you hit that like button. What is this, a Captain America? This is insane. Look at this. What a nice design of a roller coaster. The only thing I would do a little bit different with this is I would make like fight scenes, or maybe there's music. Hold on, maybe he changes the music. No, there's no music there. I love the theme. I love the theme of Captain America is the track and the cart. Yeah, the community is awesome, Sean, because you could download the people's tracks and the theme parks and everything, and then you can add it to your park and make your own park, you know? Captain America coaster. Here's the Spider-Man coaster. Here's the Spider-Man coaster. You see an Iron Man. That's got to be Iron Man off to the left. Look at the Avenger Tower, dude. Look at the Avenger Tower. Like, what? Oh, man. Oh, it's like you're web slinging. That's what it feels like. Shoot the web. Oh, yeah. That's a hell of a. Ooh, that's a brutal turn. Like a real turn, that would get you super nauseous. The G's on that thing. Well, that's it. That's a short one. That's a short one. Here's the Iron Man coaster. Come on, you gotta do the boost launch out of this. That goes a bit really fast. I mean, I got it at 1080p 60. Look at that drop, dude. Is there VR support for this? Oh, man. Oh, that tree. I would have to move that tree. That would bother me. I'd smack a person in the face. They die. What do we got here? What do we got here? Most replayed? What is this? This is Black Panther coaster. So he's got a coaster for everything. Here's the Incredible Hulk coaster. It's an upside down or hanging track. Lots of coasters in this. You got the Odin coaster. And the last one. Look at this. What a crazy park, man. I remember the last park we worked on. God, the last park I worked on, it's been years. I don't even think I have it installed anymore on my PC. I know I was playing it on console for a bit. Let me see what I have. Yeah, I only have 25 hours on PC, but I know I had like 100, 200 hours on Xbox. I would have to install it and show you what I worked on. I have like a small little park, but the amount of detail I put on there. I'm such like a planner and whatnot. Yeah, we'll do one more. We'll do one more. I want to show you. I don't know if it's the best one, but stuff like this. Oop, wrong button. Wrong button. Right, but you got. You could download the Star Wars stuff. The walkway, as you walk in, he has Star Wars and he has like the text crawl. Can I just say, this is a video game, and a person that made a park made a better credit system than Ahsoka show. Just saying. Do you see the passion? The different passion from people making a theme park in a video game, and they put the crawling text on the pavement as you walk through the park, okay? And yet the people that make the actual show couldn't put the actual crawling text like Star Wars in Ahsoka show. You got the cast meetup. Look at that. That's created. Someone created that in the game. Look at this. What is that? Is it the speed track? You got the different sections of the park. That's from episode 7? Yeah. That's Naboo. Well, that's Endor. That's not Endor. Is that Endor? Oh, it looks like Naboo, doesn't it? I'm sorry. Is that inside the Death Star? There's a ride inside the Death Star? Of course there is. Of course there is. Look at this. The amount of planning that went into that. That's insane. Oh, you got Hoth. You got Hoth. What a. Oh, look at this. You got the AT-AT smashed down on the ground with the. That's great. Got a log flume ride. They built the goddamn Millennium Falcon. Is this supposed to be a land speeder? Yeah, Skywalker coaster. Yeah, that's what that is. Geonosis Hive. Does he have music playing? He doesn't have the Lizard Rush. So you can see, right? You can see the actual, like, and this is just one person's look at what Star Wars Park would be, right? There's plenty. Look, I mean, look at it. There's plenty of Star Wars parks. Someone made a Star Wars Episode 1 racer. Someone has the planet. I mean, this is just a coaster. Like, someone literally created the ride from, like, Disney World, which is insane. Look at this. They're doing the trench run, for God's sakes. You could literally just have a channel for this stuff. I love that it's a complete dark course. Like a dark track. Look at that. Warp speed? Get out of here. And then you come into the station. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. That's insane. All right. These people hire them. Disney hire them. There was 2 other stories, but you know what? We'll save them for tomorrow. We'll save them for tomorrow. We got plenty of stuff, and we'll have a little bit of storage left over. We covered I think five stories today. So I appreciate everyone coming out and hanging out with us. If you like what we do here, please make sure you hit that like button down below. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We'll be back tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern to play a game. I'm not sure what we're playing tonight, but if you want to follow us or hit that notification, I will post it in our Discord, and I will also post it up on our YouTube channel when we start playing. We usually start, not usually, we start at 8 o'clock p.m. So if you want to come out and hang out while I play some video games, you know, certain games I talk more than others, but for the most part, we always have a conversation, and we'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow morning. If you don't come out for the video games tonight, we'll be back tomorrow morning from 10 o'clock in the morning for some more conversation and news stories. Appreciate it very much. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.